Parents, what did your child do that made you look at them completely different? When my daughter turned 17, she stopped talking. Not completely, but enough that it felt like I had to work for every word. I chalked it up to teenage mood swings. She was always quiet, always intense, but this was different. She came home later, locked her door more often, barely looked up during dinner. When I asked what was wrong, she'd smile a little too quickly and say, "I'm fine, just tired." It didn't sit right, but I didn't push. I figured maybe school was hard. Maybe she had a falling out with a friend. Nothing major. Then, one night, I woke up to the sound of her car pulling out of the driveway. It was past midnight. I looked out the window and watched her taillights disappear. The next morning, she was back. Kitchen lights off, shoes neatly by the door, like nothing had happened. I asked her where she went, and she said, "Just out for a drive." Her tone made it clear I shouldn't ask again. That became a pattern. Once or twice a week, she'd vanish in the middle of the night. I started staying up, watching. She was always careful, never gone too long, always back before sunrise. It scared me in that slow, creeping way where your brain starts collecting worst-case scenarios, but your mouth still says, okay. I finally followed her one night. I stayed far back, headlights off. She didn't go to a party. She didn't meet up with friends. She parked in front of a rundown duplex on the other side of town. She stayed inside for about 2 hours, then came out with a bag, small, plastic, like something from a gas station. When she got back in her car, she didn't go straight home. She drove to another neighborhood and left the bag on a porch. Then another. 3 houses total. I waited until she got home before heading back myself. I didn't sleep that night. The next day, I made up an excuse and called in sick. I drove to the first house she stopped at, knocked. A man in a wheelchair opened the door. His face lit up when I mentioned a teenage girl dropping something off. "She's an angel," he said. "Brings groceries every few days. Quiet girl. Doesn't say much, but she always smiles." The second house was a single mom with 3 kids. Same story. The third was an older woman with oxygen tubes and a dog that barked constantly. She just said, "That girl is the only reason I eat more than crackers." When I got home, my daughter was at school. I went into her room, not to snoop, just to understand. In her drawer was a list. Names, addresses, dietary needs. Notes like, allergic to dairy, or can't chew well, soft foods only. Dates and receipts were paper-clipped together in stacks. I sat on her bed for a long time. That night, I told her I knew. She froze, looked like I'd punched her. I didn't ask why she kept it secret. I just asked, "How long have you been doing this?" She looked down and said, "Since last winter, after Mrs. Raymond got evicted." I couldn't do nothing. Turns out she'd started with one family, then another, then more. She used her weekend job money, spent her nights planning who needed what. When the gas prices went up, she started biking instead. "I didn't want anyone to clap for it," she said. "I just didn't want them to be hungry." I had nothing to say, just this mix of heartbreak and pride I didn't know what to do with.